Welcome back, conscious parents, to week 2. This week, we're going to go a bit deeper on our journey of conscious parenting. It may feel a little bit extra challenging this week. This is normal. It is challenging, to unlearn and undo all the stuff from our past conditioning. It feels weird. I often say that it's like a no man's land or a no woman's land, where you're in between phases, where you're giving up old belief systems, but you still haven't discovered the new. But I assure you, as you begin to release the old patterns, as you become conscious of your past, of your habits, you will, albeit slowly, enter a new space where you will begin to feel a deeper sense of liberation and freedom. So, today we are going to go for one of the biggest mythologies of parenting, the biggest. Are you ready? Now, this one is a hard one to break free from. I'm warning you. It's a pattern and belief system that is adopted by every parent the world over. Well, let me keep the suspense a little bit longer and ask you, what is the one thing that you want above all else for your child? Think about it. You got it. Every parent wants what you want. Every parent wants their kid to be happy and successful. Now, why is this such a prevalent need? Well, because we have bought into this mythology that our children deserve to be happy and successful. And guess whose job it is to get them there? Ours. There isn't a single parent I know that wouldn't say that their greatest desire is to raise a happy and successful child. This sounds like it's the most normal thing to desire as a parent. After all, what crazy parent is going to want an unhappy and an unsuccessful child? In fact, wanting our children to be happy and successful sounds not only normal, but it actually sounds downright selfless, sincere, and even angelic, saintly. In fact, when parents tell me that they want this for their children, they say it with a certain sense of righteousness and pride, as if by wanting this for their children, they are being good parents. However, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to debunk this. Here's the inconvenient truth. Yep, here I go again. But it's only when we relook at our belief systems and we unlearn them, that's when we awaken. So, when we say that it's our greatest desire to want our children to be happy and successful, let me tell you that it's this desire that actually messes things up for our children and ourselves. It's actually the cause of great disconnection. You see, these terms, happiness and success, these are so misunderstood that in our chase for them, we actually end up causing more harm than good. In fact, I will go so far to say that it is this chase that actually forms the root of much of the anxiety and stress we see in modern parenting today. And certainly, we see it in the weight our children carry on their shoulders. So to truly raise our children as sovereign beings, we need to deconstruct our desires for them. When we begin our sentences with the word I want, now right there are fundamental problems because two fundamental unconscious elements already exist and we need to become aware of them. I want. Right there are two problems, the I and the want. The I is who? You. So right there, when you start a sentence with the word I, what you're saying in effect is that it's you. You are the one with the need and the desire. And the next word is want. Can anyone really dare to want anything for anyone else? What gives us this right? Now, of course, I understand that we all desire happiness for all those around us. Of course we do. But I'm showing you now how wanting these things for others sets up a resistance. It says, I do not want what is actually happening. Resistance. But I do want for something else to happen. Do you see how this creates a disconnection? Because the moment we resist the as-is of the present moment and want the as-is to be something other than it is, right there, we have created suffering for ourselves and for our children. So the first step to change begins with the acceptance of the as is. Now, this doesn't mean a passive surrender where you just are a pushover. No, but it does mean to see things as they truly are and not as we wish them to be. So now let's go even deeper. We want happiness for our kids, right? But do any of us really know what happiness even truly means? And what is happiness for one person may be unhappiness for another. So what we can agree on is that most of us really want non-pain for our kids. And this is normal. It's normal to want non-pain because pain is painful. So it's natural that we want our children to feel as little pain from life as possible. We all want to experience non-pain in our lives. But let's allow this to sink in for a moment. Is this aspiration really even possible? We know that life is never free from pain. Do we know any life that is free from pain? In fact, the very nature of life is to be intermittently filled with pain and non-pain. Pain is inevitable in life. In fact, pain is an integral part of life. Even the Buddha said, life is suffering. Life is full of ups and downs, joy and suffering. There is no light without darkness. You know, we cannot know the experience of joy without knowing the experience of sadness. So, in order for our children to live in this world, shouldn't they experience all kinds of experiences, the painful ones and the non-painful ones, the comfortable ones and the uncomfortable ones? So this idea of happiness as a goal, of life being with non-pain, is an illusion. And it's a dangerous one at that. One that causes us to judge ourselves, but also to judge life. So when our life doesn't show up as non-pain, we judge it. So we're constantly in a state of resistance and judgment toward life. That's why the current trends in social media have created such a rise in anxiety and depression in our kids. Because everyone is trying to curate and create the perfect existence, perfectly happy on social media. And so it causes others who are out there living a real life, who know that their life is full of pain, to feel unworthiness and hopelessness. So what if we moved away from these utopic ideas altogether? And instead of wishing happiness for our children, we stop wishing for anything at all? What if we began to understand that wishing for things that aren't here actually creates unhappiness? And if we were to wish for something, say we were, then let's wish for them to experience life in the present moment as it appears. Let's teach our children that life is really essentially a journey of flux and of flow, of pain and of non-pain. And let's teach them that pain is natural, it's inevitable, and that when they truly and fully experience their life, they will have the skills to handle anything that life throws at them. All of life is worthy, not just the happy, happy moments. All experiences are worthy. Your life is full and worthy. Imagine telling your children that so they learn to stop chasing happy, happy. In fact, we tell them happiness is an illusion. Life is real in its reality. Now, experience that. Life is to be engaged with without expectation, without pressure. It flows into your awareness, and our capacity to meet it wherever it is a sign of strength, of resilience, of grit, of purpose. So we release this insane pressure from ourselves to look for happiness and replace it instead with the joy of experiencing life in the present moment fully. So now let's tackle the real beast of modern parenting, the notion of success. Success. We all crave it. Again, no one really knows what true success truly is, but it's something we all crave. You know, we parents, we're really clever. We disguise success. We call it all these beautiful words like purpose and meaning and authenticity. But if this is what we want for our kids, then why chase it? Our children, they're already purposeful. They're already possessing of meaning and authenticity. Whatever we think they should chase, They already have it. So let's not lie to ourselves. We mean only one thing when we say we want our kids to be successful. What it means is that we want them to win. We want them to come first, and we want them to be rich. Success means achievement and wealth. Let's be honest with ourselves. I can think of one of my clients, Cassandra, who ran her home as a virtual military academy. She would never ever admit it, of course. I just want to expose my kids to wonderful opportunities, she would say. She structured each day of her children's life into carefully piecemeal bits and sizes of different activities, one after the other, and many, many hours of tutoring, of course. Every moment of their spare time was spent on their enrichment. Yes, we parents love flinging that word around. In her defense, Cassandra was truly trying to be the most perfect parent she knew how to be. She was sacrificing her own career. She was sacrificing her self-care, all to the betterment of her children so they achieved success in life. And she did, in fact, have the results to show for it. Her children excelled in academics and sports. But 2 out of the 3 also were suffering in silence. One with a debilitating anxiety disorder, and the other one had begun cutting in school and suffering from intense panic attacks. So what happened here? Most of us parents want our children's rooms to glisten in the dark with trophies and medals. We truly believe that the more achievements they can collect and possess and have and obtain, the easier their life will be and the less they will suffer. What we're not really aware of is that success, it just cannot be defined in narrow metrics that culture has us do. When success is measured by external criteria, typically achievement or wealth or maybe beauty or belonging, then our children are taught to be pawns to this. And they chase it with all their might, feeling that their very worth depends on this. Maybe you suffered from this as well. I certainly did when I was younger. When we don't achieve what we think we should, what happens? Then we feel unsuccessful. We feel unworthy. We feel anxious. We feel depressed. We feel as if we don't have a sense of self. So like a yo-yo, our children and our sense of inner worth and esteem is hinged on these ephemeral external concepts. Up when things are well and down when things don't go so well. And it's not just our kids, it's every adult as well. So when we pawn our sense of self to external criteria and swing with their merciless tides, forever unanchored in a rooted sense of worth, what happens is that we begin to become ungrounded. We begin to have anxiety attacks. We begin to worry. We begin to lose who it is we are. So pushing our children so that they get in front of the race, because we view life as a race, really needs to be a paradigm that needs to change. So do we really want to teach our children that they need to achieve the greatest heights in order to feel worthy and happy? Do we want to teach them that without external success, they are nothing? No. We cannot have our children base their sense of who it is they are on anything external. So this paradigm shift, moving away from ideals of success and happiness to the true experience of life in the moment, to truly engaging with the moment and with the self as it appears, this shift in paradigm is the key shift you will make from the traditional model of parenting to the conscious one. It takes courage, I know, to deconstruct what culture has taught us about success and happiness. I can almost hear you protesting because you don't want your kid to fall behind the curve. You see all the neighbors' kids doing all these activities and pushing their kids. You don't want your kid to be the only kid on the block who doesn't know 3 languages by the age of 6. I understand your fear. But as conscious parents, again, we are called to be more daring. We are called to deconstruct these fears. We must transcend them. We cannot do what culture says to do simply because we want to fit in. We owe our children something different. Modern parenting is plagued with hyperactivity, with anxiety, all centered around this notion of success and fitting in with the crowd. And as a result of this artificially induced pressure, most of us parents and our kids constantly feel overburdened. Now, what if I were to tell you that you don't have to do this anymore? You can opt out. What if I were to tell you that you could completely let go of all fear-based paradigms and parent yourself and your children without any of that pressure? In order to forge a new path, it is imperative that we completely let go of what the Matrix has told us. Let go of all that stuff that you were raised to believe, all your ideations around success and happiness and worth and belonging, and instead allow for a new experience of yourself, your children, and life itself. Conscious parenting is really about allowing our children to understand fundamentally that who it is they are inherently is worthy of success. It is happiness right there. We want our children to learn to be comfortable in their own skin, to celebrate who it is they are in this life journey, to accept themselves fully, because it is this self-acceptance that actually leads to the highest sense of inner peace, inner validation, and inner worth. So for today's task, we're going to reimagine a new way to think about happiness and success. We're going to change our entire belief systems around this. So imagine your child has just returned from school with their final report card. It is full of C's and one F. Imagine for a moment, now close your eyes, take a moment and imagine and write down how you imagine your reaction would be. What would you say? What would you do? How would you feel about your child? And more importantly, about yourself? After you've written this down, I would like you to look at your notes and reflect. What do you notice? What do you realize from this exercise? So observe how this feels. What comes up for you when you imagine allowing your child to have less than perfect moments and you can't interfere? Do you wish that you could jump in and rescue? Well, let me tell you that this desire to jump in and rescue is as much about your own anxiety as it is about your child's. So as you begin to visualize having a different reaction to unhappiness or to failure, you can begin to cultivate that muscle. So the next time you're caught in a moment of chaos with your kid, or they come home with a bad grade, or they're not invited to a party, you will allow them to embrace the pain, to allow for the discomfort. You will allow them to feel their own experiences. You will just observe. You will watch. And you will resist all urges to jump in, to fix, to meddle, and to solve. Of course, I'm not talking about any serious physical pain that your kids may be going through. Of course, for that, you have to jump in and rescue them. I'm talking about your child's emotional feelings. Can you allow those feelings to exist as is? Allow them to experience failure. Allow them to experience unhappiness and pain without your projection. So your children, they may be confused at first because they're used to having mommy or daddy jump in and meddle and fix and rescue and medicate. So they're going to look at you quizzically like, why aren't you doing anything? They may even think that you don't care. So now, this is an opportunity for you to shift in your consciousness and teach them that you're learning to accept life as it shows up. You're learning to honor and celebrate pain. And you're going to teach them to feel their feelings as they arise. Trust me, your children will soon learn and understand on their own the transformative power of pain. And like you, they too will begin to grow to see it as an immensely valuable and essential portal of transformation. So again, today's session, just like all our other sessions, is about you. You practicing and learning how to embrace your child in their unique life experiences as they are, without engineering, micromanaging, or embellishing. It's not an easy practice to step back and to allow. But believe me, this is the way you teach your children that they will not break or crumble when they are in a sense or moment of pain. In fact, when they see that they can handle pain and even transform pain, then you would have given them the gift of resilience. So observe yourself and share. Share with the rest of the parents what you're going through, your pangs, your angst, your regrets. because through the sharing, we will all grow. I'm so excited to see you here back again tomorrow.